here's what I think people have wrong, or what I should say, what I had wrong with respect to manifestation for the longest time. And I've really been digging into this on my podcast lately. So you can check out, there's like a manifestation part 1 and 2 if you want to get like the full details. But essentially, I had this realization, and just stick with me here because I'm going to get to the guts of this thing. But I have been saying over and over again, what you hold in mind tends to manifest, and that is like, we know that's true. Our thoughts create our reality, and I've always known that the one piece of the puzzle that was missing about this is that most manifestation processes are trying to tell you to just tune into how you want to feel and try and stay in that state of consciousness. Think positive thoughts, say affirmations, and I think that's all great. But the problem being is that the mind has developed programs to protect us, and it does so by constantly feeding us thought after thought after thought. So I'm going to use my own example in this thing, and I'm going to try and keep this quick. But essentially it's this. I was, for example, with health, I was constantly telling myself that I need to eat healthier. And you would think that is a good thing, right? But once I learned what I was really telling myself, if I'm saying I need to eat healthier, what I'm really telling myself is that I'm not eating healthy. And so by not eating healthy, now I'm in the belief that I'm not eating healthy. What that allows me to do is to stay comfortable. And in that comfort, I remain stuck at my current level of health. Okay. And so that whole process of telling myself I need to get healthier was a form of protection by the mind to not get out of my comfort zone. And that's all the mind is trying to do. And that comfort zone becomes our misery, and it also becomes the thing that is limiting us most. So the first step in this process is to really understand what it is you're telling yourself. And once you start to create awareness around this, you're going to notice that the mind is kind of only telling you 3 to 4 things, and it's just telling you in a bunch of different ways. So again, with my own example, the mind would tell me, I would catch myself on an angle in a mirror, and the mind would say, like, you're fat, or be like, man, you really got to get back to the gym, or you should really stop eating sweets, or whatever it would tell me. But it was all the same shit, basically telling me that I'm out of shape. And that's why being out of shape continued to manifest in my life. So now that I created this awareness around learning to read between the lines of my thought, what are my thoughts really telling me? That awareness was enough to begin reducing those thoughts, because the mind is protecting me from discomfort. It's creating these thoughts of, you better get to the gym, you better do these things. Kind of makes me feel a little bit better about myself, because I'm now thinking I'm going to go do that, but I never end up actually going to do it. So I remain stuck. So now that I've recognized that this is what the mind is actually telling me, those thoughts begin to reduce. And as they begin to reduce, and as I begin to notice them more, the second step is, yes, you can recontextualize them in that moment. So I don't want to lie, and there is a belief out there, you can fake it till you make it. I don't want to lie though. So I don't believe that I'm healthy, but I do believe that I'm getting healthier. And so now every time I catch a thought of you're fat, or you should go, I'm already going to the gym, but you should start eating better, I just say, I'm getting healthier. Everything's going to work out. I trust the process. Whatever it is that you want to, there is no rules on how you recontextualize it, because the recontextualization or the affirmation or whatever it is isn't that important. The awareness piece is more important. It's more important to start noticing your thoughts. So anytime anything's out of control in your life, just bring more awareness. And we're going to do so by reading between the lines. I suggest only doing one. If you're constantly thinking about money, I just want you to start observing all of the thoughts you have around money, because what you're really telling yourself when you say, I need to make more money, is that you don't have money now. And so now that you know that, every time I need to make more money pops into your mind, you can observe it. By observing it, those thoughts are going to begin to reduce, which is going to create the space for some recontextualization, but which is really going to move us into step 3, which is understanding what belief is at the core of this whole entire thought. So our beliefs are constantly feeding our minds with these thoughts, and these thoughts are creating our reality. So what's the belief? And so the belief that I had at the core is that I am not healthy, I am not in good shape. Those beliefs continue to drive thoughts of go get into shape, which held me in the belief and held me in the not being in shape. So now that I know what that belief is, the third step is to understand, well, what is that belief protecting me from? And so when I was doing this around food, what I recognized the belief was protecting me from was the discomfort I would feel when I quit eating like shit, because food has become comfort for me. And so what is it protecting me from? And it's protecting me from, if I'm just tuning in right now, to the feeling of not being enough. Okay. And so that pain is the pain that I'm trying to avoid with this belief, right? And so in order to break free, I need to let go of not being enough. And that started somewhere in my life. So this would be the fourth step, is tune into when it began or when it started in your life. I'll give you the example of money. When I used money, my belief that money would bring me happiness. So my mind was flooded with how I could make more money. Once I started asking the question of why I'm not happy now, I tuned into the shame and the embarrassment I experienced as a kid by not having enough. And so this is what fueled my life. So step 1, we read between the lines. Step 2, we can do some recontextualization if we want. Step 3, we tune into the belief and what it's protecting us for. Step 4 is we let go, finally, of that pain that we are avoiding through this pattern, through this being stuck. Step 5 is we manifest it by tuning into how we want to feel and basically opening the door or opening the floodgates of that emotion. Happiness, I thought money would buy me happiness or bring me happiness. Once I started letting happiness flow in, even before I got the money, along with the flow of happiness came the flow of money. I had become the state I wanted to be before I achieved the goal. And because I already believed it was mine, the goal or the money then flowed into my life, and it was easy and it was effortless, so much so that I began questioning, it was like, could it be this easy? And so now I'm doing that exact same thing with health. It's like I don't yet believe that I'm healthy, but I believe that I'm getting healthier. And because of that belief, I'm starting to shift. Things are happening effortlessly. I'm starting to say to myself that I look good, even though nothing's changed. I haven't lost a pound, but I catch myself saying, hey, you're looking pretty good today. And my belief is shifting, which is creating new thoughts, which is going to create a new reality. This is how we manifest. The thing I think most people are missing is they don't understand what their mind is really telling them, and they don't understand what that belief that's at the core of this is protecting them from. They never clear the space. They never deal with the pain that is driving all of these thoughts, because the mind has one function, and that's to protect us. So the mind, we experience emotional pain. The mind goes to work to make sure we never re-experience it. That re-experience, that protection is what keeps us stuck. And so once we go back and deal with that pain, we no longer need the protection. We clear the space. We can then allow higher states of consciousness that we are after to flow into our life. Once we begin believing and feeling the way we want to feel before we manifest the thing that we want to manifest, that's when it comes into our life. And this is how you manifest the life of your dreams.